Previously on Fairy Tail. Margear activates Allegria, causing the entire cube to turn into Plutogrim, and everybody in the entire guild is trapped inside of it. And the only hope anyone's got is... Lucy. I'm sure she could do a fairly adequate job? Okay, yeah, she just got fucked by a train. We're screwed. Yeah, stupid girl. I'm gonna blow my load all over your face. Where the hell's that music coming from? Oh, sweet mother of Acknowledgia, what did you just do?
The king is here.
Did Lucy just summon God? Because I think that would be good enough to fight against Tartarus if she just summoned God. Hey everybody, Tekking101 here, here to review Bleach. Oh shit. Here to review Fairy Tail Chapter 385, entitled The Celestial Spirit King versus the Daemon King. So, chapter starts off with the Plutogrim crashing down to Earth after the freaking Celestial Spirit King cut that sucker up like a Christmas ham. Now, apparently, before it transformed, before Margear used Allegria and it transformed into Plutogrim, that monster with the teeth and the wings, before it was just cube, that was over Magnolia. So, I guess after it got transformed into the creature, it moved slightly, so then when it crashed down to the planet Earth, it didn't, smash the town underneath of it. So, that's a plus. They're out in the country somewhere. So, after that goes down, after the Celestial Spirit King carves that shit up, he goes down to confront Margear, and we see all the demons too. We see Silver and everybody, shocked by what the hell's going on, but they don't seem very jarred by the fact that their home base just crashed down to the planet Earth for no good reason. They're just kind of looking around like, what's going on here, guys? Something's going on. I heard a slight rumble going on. Anyway, the Celestial Spirit King confronts Margear, and they clearly have a history together. I mean, even in the last chapter, he arrived, and he's just like, oh, King of Hades, it's been far too long. And Margear, he's just there, and he's still holding the book, and the Celestial Spirit King is like, oh, you're still holding that book. He's like, well, this book contains the spirit of our master, Endu. So I guess that's why he holds on to it. Now, I was thinking a Zero thing the first time I saw that. Oh, is this going to be he opens the book and it has the soul of End and possesses Margear, and it's oh, that's the true guild master. But, Mashima already did that with Zero. The whole idea that Brain was, containing the soul of Zero, and Zero was the true guild master of Orhan Sates. So, maybe it's going to be, something separate. Maybe they're looking for, the physical body to put it in, and Margear is just kind of the guardian of End's soul in the meantime. Apparently, this has been going on for probably hundreds, if not thousands of years. Well, I guess not thousands of years, because that whole battle with End and Ignil happened 400 years ago. So somewhere between the battle, 400 years ago, and now, the Celestial Spirit King and Margear had some kind of confrontation. So, the Celestial Spirit King, gives him, I guess, the benefit of the doubt or something. He doesn't immediately go to cut the guy up. He asks, okay, what are you guys planning? What's going on here? And, of course, Margear is just oh, well, we're planning to resurrect Zeref, blah, blah, blah. The same shit we've already heard 1,000 times. And, yeah, he doesn't seem very intimidated by the fact that God is essentially, questioning him, putting him on trial here. I say God because that's, the closest thing to God we have in the Fairy Tail universe. I mean, we have the entire Celestial Spirit realm, all the spirits of all the different constellations, all the different planets, whatever, make up this realm, and he's the boss of that. He's basically Yahweh. That's basically who he is. Anyway, he brings up the fact that, he made Lucy cry, and he made the person who has the contract with him, shed tears. Therefore, I will destroy her enemies. I shall never forgive thee! This shit right here is why I chose to review this chapter. This shit right here. This is awesome. I mean, come on. Nobody expected Lucy to do something this badass. Nobody did. I mean, at best, people were thinking okay, maybe Lucy will do something to bring back Gray or Natsu or Mira or Urza, and then they're going to be the ones that are going to come up with the plan. No one was debunking on Lucy to do something this epic, okay? So, just enjoy the ride while we have the shot, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just do this. So he breaks out his freaking 10-ton claymore or whatever and just whoom, knocks that son of a bitch straight down to Earth. But then he appears behind him on the sword's blades, and he uses his dark magic or whatever. We find out Margear's magic is thorn magic, or his curse is thorn magic. So basically the deal is, he wishes around with his hands, and then these thorns begin to pop out of the place he specified, which would be around his sword, and they pierce the Celestial Spirit King. They seemed, I don't know, in this panel, it seems like they go right through him, but he doesn't seem really encumbered. Like, he doesn't bleed, obviously, so that's the case with that. And he states that this magic, this curse, will continuously create an infinite number of thorns over and over again. However, as you probably would have guessed, trying to stop the Celestial Spirit King, which is really just kind of lives up to his name, being a giant holding the massive claymore and the booming, echoing voice that strikes fear in the heart of giants and men alike, would probably not be stopped by some briars in the forest. Just rips those shit right off of him. He ain't having none of that. And then he uses Meteor Blade, which kind of lives up to its name with a meteorite crashing down to Earth. A lot of meteorites been going on in the manga chapters as of late, so I don't know if Hiro is just kind of trying to get onto the whole deal here, although he didn't actually summon a meteor. Like, that would have probably made this character the coolest thing ever if he was like, Meteor Blade, and then a meteor actually appears over it, and then like, when he swings the sword, the arc of the meteor follows the arc of the sword, and just slams into the freaking Infiore, and just boom, you know, massive collision. But no, he does pretty much essentially cut up the entire continent. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's going to be, that you could see this from space on this kind of level of battle we're having here. Mardgear is, of course, not affected by this at all. He's just having his own arrogant asshole face. He's just like, yes, that's interesting. He was able to almost slice up the entire continent. Very cool. So we cut back over to Lucy and Jackal, which, I kind of forgot about this because I just assumed, like, Celestial Spirit King shows up and, I don't know, he'll pick up Lucy and put her on his shoulder and be like, it's cool, girl, we got this. I got this taken care of. You just rest for now. But no, Lucy is still over on the battlefield where they were originally, and she's pretty much passed out. I mean, she's still conscious, but she's still on the ground. She's barely conscious, probably, and she's just cradling Aquarius's key that's now broken. So I had, like, okay, people were thinking, like, Aquarius is gonna die because of the whole, you know, I break my key, therefore she's dead. I assumed it was just because, like, oh, well, her key's broken, so therefore she can never see Lucy again, therefore she's going to be bound to the celestial spirit world for eternity, like she can never leave because her key is broken. Apparently, from what we learned in this chapter, no, she might be gone forever. Like, the constellation Aquarius has just, like, gone out in the sky, apparently, because apparently she's gone. Some of you might have been realizing this last chapter, like, obviously, Tekking, didn't you know that? But I just assumed the other one. Jackal's looking at her, like, sniveling on the ground. He's like, what the hell are you doing? What did you do, you bitch? What's going on over there, the explosion? So Jackal, I guess, tries to just, you know, resume what he was doing earlier and just tries to blow her the hell up. But then a water shield shows up and blocks his explosion, and instantly Lucy just looks up and just like, oh, a shield made of water, it's Aquarius, is she still around? She doesn't see her, but then her body begins to, like, kind of fume and, like, energy, like, its magic energy starts, like, pouring out of her body, and it begins to transform her form. We have the obvious close-up view of her breasts in this chapter, because, of course, it's fairy tale, you have to have one of those in each one. You know, so that starts going down, and then she starts hearing the Spirit King in her head, like telekinesis or something, and just saying, like, I will bestow you with the powers of Aquarius, my old friend. And boom, so she gets a costume change, she gets Aquarius's tattoo across, you know, her, you know, across, like, collarbone, she gets Aquarius's bikini top, her boobs probably got bigger, she's got the ponytails rocking, and she is now... she's a freaking celestial spirit, I guess. I don't know. I mean, obviously, like, I see a way the Spirit King did this, because maybe it's like the balance of powers or something. Like, you cannot just have no Aquarius. There has to be some kind of vessel for this power in the sky, or else, like, that'll throw the whole, like, order of things out of whack. So maybe he had to bestow the power of Aquarius to somebody, and of course, Lucy was just there, and she was about to go down anyway. So he gave it to Lucy. I don't know what this means now, because this has never happened before. You know, 300 plus chapters, almost 400 chapters of this series, we've never had a conversation involving, like, what would happen if a human were to bestow with celestial spirit magic. I mean, we kind of had the whole thing with Zoldio and Caprico, but that wasn't really like the Spirit King giving Zoldio Capricorn's power. It was just Capricorn's power. It was just Zoldio taking it for himself, and that's what messed him up. That's what ended up making him die. But here we actually have, like, the Spirit King giving a new vessel for Aquarius's power, so I don't know what this is going to mean with Lucy. If this is going to be a thing with Loki, where she could stay in the human world, it's just going to drain her magical power. If she has to go back to the celestial spirit world, if the Spirit King is just going to take the power out of her, that would be kind of a jip, because this is actually kind of cool. Like, this is like the perfect potential right here for Lucy to kick a little ass without relying on her spirits all the time, for her to actually do shit on her own, except just pull out her freaking whip or something. So I hope they keep this up. I really do. So she fights against, you know, Jackal, and she's actually doing a pretty good job. You know, she's, you know, protecting herself from all the blasts with the water shields and everything. So she obviously has more power than Aquarius, because Aquarius wasn't really being able to do anything to Jackal except kind of keep him at bay with like the torrent of water. Here we have Lucy, who is manifesting like water shields and like blocking his attacks for nothing. And you know he's obviously trying. He just can't hit her. He just can't get through. So she just goes on her friendship speech, like, okay, blah, 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 I need to protect my friends, blah, 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 fairy tale, blah, 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 speech number 306,000, subsection B. So then she activates her ultimate technique. Oh, Trebulus, I am the ruler of the stars, aspect become complete, open thy malevolent gate, 88 stars of the firmament, shine! Uneranometria! And she blasts freaking Jackal right off into the sky, and that's how the chapter ends. So, first off, she was finally able to use this attack without any kind of, you know, like other kind of requisite, you know, like the first time she used it, she had to have Hibiki, you know, kind of like download the information to her, and then when she used it against Obra, well, tried to use it against Obra, she had to summon Gemini, but that didn't even follow through because of whole Obra's power, but now she's finally able to pull this shit out without any kind of, like, prerequisite for attack. She can just use it, and it is beautiful. She knocks freaking Jackal away. I'm not sure if that's gonna kill him, or just take him out of the fight. With the theme we have going now that Hell's Core is gone, he might very well be dead, because I see the theme going with that. Like, they were invincible for all but, like, 20 chapters, and then now Hell's Core was destroyed, and they're like, oh, well, too bad, they're not invincible anymore. Anyway, so yeah, that was kind of a jip. I really wish there was some other way that the demons could resurrect instead of having a laboratory to resurrect, because you blow up the laboratory, you're pretty much screwed. So the whole concept of them being immortal creatures is pretty much just nixed right now. With the exception of Mardgear and End, of course, because those ones probably operate on different kind of frequencies. They might very well be immortal in the truest sense, because they've been around for several hundred years. But anyway, that's the end of the chapter. We don't really get much involving the Celestial Spirit King like I expected. I mean, we got the epic, cool, you know, meteor blade slash down, him ripping off, Mardgear's magic like it's nothing, but we don't really get much more in the fight with them. I'm figuring, like, with the Celestial Spirit King, it's going to be like, he's going to be able to hold a candle to Mardgear. Whatever Mardgear can pull out on his own, he can take, but then I think End's going to show up. This is like because you figure this is the only opponent that End could really showcase full power for. Like, if End shows up, and he might not be strong in the Celestial Spirit King, but he's definitely going to be at least on an equal level with him. This kind of, like, demonic Zeref level power. You know, End was the first demon Zeref created, so it's like Zeref's here, and, like, I guess Echnology is, like, somewhere around here, but then End might be, like, right below Zeref, like, right below that kind of tier. So we'll be looking to that next chapter of Mardgear probably just getting the shit kicked out of him, I'm hoping. Jack was probably taken out of the fight, and I don't know what the hell's going to be up with Lucy and her powers with Aquarius, if she's going to have to go and live with the Celestial Spirit World, and we'll have to focus on other characters in Fairy Tail. That would be such a disappointment! Which, now that she's kind of badass, I don't know, it's kind of a double-edged sword, you know, I don't know how it's going to go. It's either she's going to keep the powers and live normally, which wouldn't make any sense, or she has to give up the powers to live normally, which would be really disappointing, or she has to keep the powers and go live in the Celestial Spirit World. What are you guys' opinions? Thank you for watching. Tekking101, signing out. Bow to the king, baby.